Welcome to Marvelous Videos. This is Andrew Lapamardo, and today we are going to be talking about Silent Hill, a spine-chilling Lovecraftian horror that went unnoticed, and we are going to explain it in detail. Movies adapted from video games have rarely done justice to their original source. Today, we will discuss an exception, an undiscovered gem in the cosmic horror genre, which was successful in recreating the atmosphere of the video game into the silver screen. Let's find out about the secret of what made Silent Hill one of those exceptions. Before we get into the explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click from you, but means a lot to us. Thank you. Let's begin. The movie opens with a mother frantically searching for her missing daughter Sharon. Rose, the mother, is terrified to see Sharon standing over a waterfall as if in a trance. As Rose pulls her back from the edge, Sharon passes out screaming the name Silent Hill. It is not the first time Sharon has sleepwalked and had occurring nightmares about the haunted town. Hoping to find answers about the trauma tormenting her adopted kid, Rose and Sharon decide to visit the abandoned town of nightmares. As they are about to drive off to their destination, we see a board with the message, "Do you not know that we will judge angels? Do you not know that saints will judge the world?" Foreshadowing the craziness waiting to welcome them. Meanwhile, Chris, Sharon's foster father, is horrified to learn how desolate Silent Hill is and worries that the trip might be a mistake. But he is too late to convince Rose to reconsider her decision. Sharon not only sleepwalks, but also makes devilish edits to her drawings, but has no memory of why, how, or when she did. Rose pulls up at a gas station to calm Sharon down as she is scared. This is when we meet Sybil, the well-meaning police officer. Clad in her leather jacket and her face hiding behind her helmet, worried about the safety of the child, she decides to follow the car. When asked to pull over, Rose panics and speeds towards Silent Hill. Scared she might hurt a pedestrian, the car skids as she pulls the brake and lies between the wheel unconscious. The town of Silent Hill is filled with fog and ashes, falling from the sky as if snowfall. After regaining consciousness, Rose discovers that Sharon is nowhere to be found. She runs into Dahlia, a frantic-looking woman mumbling about how the people of the town are liars. When shown a picture of Sharon, Dahlia mistakes Sharon as her daughter, Alessa, as the two bear a striking resemblance. Soon, darkness looms over, and Rose starts to follow around the silhouette of a girl, similar to Sharon. Running after the child, Rose encounters shape-shifting monsters and corpses hanging on barbed wire. She somehow manages to escape them. Having narrowly escaped death, Rose darts out to the road where she once again meets Sybil. Doubting the mode of insanity of Rose, Sybil arrests her under the suspicion of harming Sharon. With no vehicle in sight to drive them, Sybil and Rose begin to march out of town and head to a literal dead end. Once again, the monsters appear, and Rose uses the distraction to escape from Sybil. Meanwhile, the monster spits out poisonous ink on Sybil, and her helmet and jacket begin to fume. Sybil removes her helmet and throws her jacket to the ground. She brings out her pistol and begins to shoot the enemy. Rose heads to the school to search for her daughter, where she learns of Alessa, the little girl accused of witchcraft by the whole town. Alessa leads Rose to the corpse of Colin, the janitor. She finds a clue about Sharon's whereabouts hidden in the janitor's mouth. When Rose was about to exit the school, a group of miners, accompanied by flesh-eating flies, chase after her. She is rescued by Sybil, who now believes something is very wrong with this town. While the duo is momentarily safe in the boiler room, they are attacked by a pyramid-headed demon who has managed to crack the door with his giant knife. Chris, along with some other police officers, has arrived at Silent Hill. He believes Rose is nearby as he can smell her perfume. At this point, we discover that Rose and Sybil are stuck in a parallel dimension. The police make Chris leave Silent Hill, as it is not safe to stay in town, which has been closed because of the fire burning underground. On the other side, Sybil and Rose run into a frantic who mumbles about how having faith is the only way to survive the darkness looming over them. They head to the hotel where Rose believes Sharon is hiding. Once again, they come across Dahlia, and the frantic Anna begins to attack her. Sharon is still nowhere to be found, but Rose runs into Alessa instead. As darkness approaches, the duo follows Anna into the church, where her cult is seeking shelter. As Anna assaults Dahlia again, Pyramid Head annihilates Anna. The cult is skeptical about trusting the strangers. They decide to send Rose underground in the guise of aiding to rescue her daughter. Once they realize Rose's daughter looks exactly like Alessa, they begin to attack Sybil and Rose, accusing them of being witches. Sybil once again saves Rose, sending her underground, leaving herself at the mercy of the cult. Underground, Rose finally comes face to face with Alessa and learns about how her daughter is tied to the history of the town's darkness. Rose discovers that a group obsessed with the purity of faith would term a fatherless child born out of wedlock a spawn of the devil. The elders committed acts of cruelty by attempting to burn the child at the stake and tricking her mother into letting them sacrifice her. Out of the torment, Alessa cursed the whole town and created Sharon as a symbol of light she once carried inside her. Now it is up to Rose to prevent Sharon from meeting the same fate as Alessa. At the beginning of the third act, once again, the board appears to remind us, do you not know that we will judge angels? Do you not know that saints will judge the world? Silent Hill remains an undiscovered gem in the world of movies adapted from video games. Not only did it stay loyal to the source, but the fact the director, Christoph Gans, was a huge fan of the game also helped him in recreating the world. Sharon is the thread that pulls Rose into the other world of Silent Hill, a town where it rains ashes, a town filled with inhuman creatures, a town that challenges Rose's concept of reality from the moment she wakes up after the crash. Along with Rose, Sybil doesn't believe anything Rose said until she herself runs into these monsters. And none of them look anything like the evil spirits and demons we are used to seeing in movies, like The Exorcist or The Conjuring. Lovecraftian monsters are more of a manifestation of your most irrational fear. They don't possess, they simply attack or trap you in an alternate zone. The horror of Silent Hill lies more in the latter. Fans of the game will notice that quite a few alterations were made to the movie. Harry, the male protagonist from the video game, becomes Rose in the movie. Even with the gender swap, the essence of the story remains about a parent searching for their missing daughter. In the game, Dahlia, Alessa's mother, is the main villain, whereas, in the movie, she is a mother who is deceived into sacrificing her child to Christabella, the leader of a cult out on a witch hunt for those who don't adhere to the purity of faith. Despite a couple of tweaks in the story, what made the movie appealing to the fans of the game are the enemies who appear on the screen, straight from the video game. We are introduced to Pyramid Head as he attacks Rose and Sybil. We learn how terrifying he really is when he literally rips Anna apart. Another notable appearance is that of the mummified nurses Rose encounters after Christabella sends her underground to meet the demon. The color tones of the film differentiate the parallel world of Silent Hill from the reality Chris is in, who senses her presence because of her perfume, but cannot locate her. As soon as Rose enters Silent Hill, the color gray overpowers the screen. It is a clear contrast from the locale of Brahms, not far from our ghost town. Although Chris is looking for his wife and daughter, his primary purpose here is to give more information to the viewers. It is through him we get to know that Silent Hill is haunted. As he tries to gather more information about his daughter from the orphanage they adopted her from, we learn a little bit more about Alessa. The chilling background score only adds to the eerie setting. The movie used the same music from the video games, composed by Akira Yamaoka. When you watch the movie, you'll be transported back to the days you played the game. What makes the movie even spookier is the fact that the writer based it on the real-life story of Centralia, Pennsylvania. There, the residents of the mining town were preparing to celebrate Memorial Day back in 1962. They thought it would be a neat idea to clean up with an old-fashioned garbage fire. So, they lit up the town landfill, and it resulted in the fire losing control and spreading faster than wildfire. eventually reaching the coal mine, rendering the place inhabitable due to unhealthy amounts of carbon monoxide. The town in the flick is shut down to the public for a similar reason. When the cops, along with Chris, entered it, all of them were wearing masks to prevent them from inhaling poisonous gas. Get back! Silent Hill. The movie is primarily driven by strong female characters. The distraught mother searching for her child, the police officer who kills monsters with her bullets, the cult leader who brainwashed an entire town, and the little girl who cursed the entire place, which stripped her of her innocence. Silent Hill, at its core, is the tale about a parent willing to risk everything to protect their child. In the year 2012, a sequel was released in 3D. Unfortunately, it not only failed to scare the audience, but it also failed to live up to the expectations set by its predecessor. Titled Revelation, the narrative begins several years after the original story. Our protagonist this time is Heather, the high schooler. She's also traveling around with her father and changing schools because she keeps having nightmares where she is teleported to Silent Hill. Sean Bean once again reprises his role as a father to the child. But this time, he gets kidnapped by the cult, who only wants to lure his daughter into the town to sacrifice her to defeat Alessa once and for all. Heather heads to Silent Hill, along with her friend Vincent. They do bring out the monsters from the game into the movie, but as there's too much happening, the movie leaves you more confused than scared. When Silent Hill Revelation failed as a sequel, it would be interesting if a reboot is adapted from the franchise's shattered memories. The reason why this adaptation would work is that it is a remake of the first game, retaining the original story of Harry, the father searching for his daughter. Some old characters and antagonists return, and some new characters are introduced. In this installment, the players interact with a therapist, whose various tests give the players insight into the monsters that they are about to encounter. Following the success of Black Mirror, Bandersnatch, an interactive Silent Hill reboot set in the world of shattered memories sounds amazing. While the game did get mixed reactions, its frozen atmosphere would be the perfect setup to create the spooky and chilling factor from the original movie. Favorite monsters from other versions of the franchise could be added to increase the scare factor, and the plot lines could be twisted into something more sinister. Silent Hill deserves a much better sequel than Revelation, and right now, it is the perfect time to create that.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.